my name is Darren. I'm a dad. I was gonna have my EFB. Okay. Hello. My name is Darren. I'm a dad. I'm an airline pilot. I'm a husband of a scientist. It is Sunday. Very clunky. Sunday, and I'm headed to the airport. It is a day off, but it is currently 7:47 p.m. and we depart at 9:35 p.m. to where? London. Again, this is a day off. I had the whole day with my family. This morning we did family stuff. I washed my main car, and we went to Six Flags for several hours with my youngest. My oldest didn't want to go because if you have older kids, teenager, she went yesterday with her friends. Six Flags is 4 miles from our house, so we go there a lot. But with a full day with the family, after we were done with Six Flags, I saw this trip to London open up. They needed a first officer, so it's a flying trip. And I'm like, hey, that's my wife. Can I go to London? She went, that's fine. Because again, I had the day off tomorrow. No, sorry. Today's the day off. Tomorrow is a reserve day. I haven't flown this month, so tomorrow morning at 11 a.m., I was primed to be the first person to go. So, you watch my other videos, you know I'm a gambler, I'm a hustler, right? So at this airline, if I pick up a trip that starts on a day off and goes into reserve days, or starts on a reserve day and goes into a day off, even by half an hour, it doesn't really matter. All that trip goes on top of my guarantee. So, as a short haul pilot, I have a 76-hour a month guarantee. Even if they never call me, I get 76 hours. Well, as is, I get the 76-hour guarantee plus the value of this trip, which is 19 hours and 15 minutes. So the total is this for the month. If they don't call me for the rest of the month on reserve, I get that per month. Pretty good bet, right? So by me going to work on a day off, again, it is 7:49 in the evening. We all had dinner. Life is good. I'm going to make a good amount of extra money for the month. Pretty good bet. Again, this is London. 777-300 each direction. It's a very senior crew, front and back. I think 2 flight attendants are reserved, so they're kind of junior. Everyone else has been here 25, 30 years. Captain and the FB relief pilot are new to me. I had never met them before, so I'll meet them for the first time on the airplane. We have an 8:35 p.m. report time, 9:35 p.m. departure time. Again, I said I left home at 7:47, right? I left close to the airport. I should be in the employee lot by 8 o'clock at the latest. Employee bus, hopefully by 8:10. In the terminal by 8:20-ish. I'll breeze through the crew room in Terminal D real quick to make sure you see the captain's down there. It's 50-50 if he's down there or not. And then I'll head over to the airplane. All right. I'm so happy to fly again, by the way. I haven't flown in a while. I'll probably put some picture of me with my beard I had earlier today. I'm very happy to fly again. And not just fly again, but a flying trip, meaning not a relief pilot trip. So that's even better. All right. All right, it is 8:01. I'm pulling into the employee lot now. I am going to park, I hate door dings, right on the edge. And I'm probably gonna miss this next bus because I saw it come by just now. Like I saw it at the next to last stop. Anyways, I'm gonna park the car, pop the trunk, and then I'm probably gonna see the employee bus pull up. I'll be like, ah! All right, let's go. Yeah, there goes my bus. I'll have to get the next one. They're driving really fast too. That's all right. Now, I do judge bus drivers. I used to be a school bus driver in college. I drove a school bus for 3 years. These guys are dangerous. They are, almost all of them are. They drive fast, they brake fast, they turn fast. It's ridiculous. But anyways, got to the airport, went down to the crew room, saw the captain. Nice guy, old, doesn't talk much. Said, hey, you want to fly? I went, I don't care. Yeah, you're flying, Darren. So Hey, I haven't flown to London in a while. I must haven't fly back from London. So, got the paperwork and head over to the gate. It wasn't too far away. Again, thankfully, it was in Terminal D. Again, my favorite part of the trip. What is it? It is walking down the jet bridge into the airplane. And this is a 777-300. We don't have a lot of these on property, and I don't fly them very often. The big differences are this has a camera on the outside, or three cameras, a much wider wingspan, higher flap speeds, a better weather radar, and our 300s have a better CPDLC system that works around the world. Our 200s have a very older CPDLC system. But beyond that, they're very well, Qualon and the crew rest area is much superior than the 200. Now, let's try something different for my videos. I'm going to try some flight sim in-flight content getting into London now. I am putting chapters on this video, so you can skip ahead if you don't want to watch it. I'm putting in the Nugra 1 Hotel Arrival, ILS 27 right, with the Bovingdon, I think I said it right, transition, so to speak, for the hold. I've gone to London several times. I've only not held one time. But we verify all the step down fixes, all the speeds. And I'm going to put one in here just so we get down a little bit quicker ahead of Bovington. If I said it wrong then. I'm going to put in 220 and 7,000 at the WCO VOR, which is the Westcott. Oh, it's not. It's an NDB. That way, the VNAV can get down fast enough. This is something a lot of us do. Now I'm putting the hold in, and again, the hold is as depicted. It is a inbound course of 116 and just 1 minute inbound legs. In the U.S., we do a lot of 10-mile legs to save fuel. In London, keep it all standard, nothing special. Putting my flaps in again. It's just flaps 30. Before landing, if we're far away, I can revisit this. Might change by 1 or 2 knots. Not that big of a deal. And I'm also going to double check my VNAV descent speeds. Right now it's set for like 314. That's really fast. Let's do 0.83 and 290. That's a much more gradual descent. And again, by putting these speeds in, the plane looks and figures out where to descend on the arrival to get down to meet all of the restrictions. Now we're already into the VNAV descent already, and as you descend into London, most time as you descend, they slow you down. So now you have to go down and slow down, which is really hard to do in any jet because jets are designed to be aerodynamic, very slick. So you have to put out the speed brakes or put out some drag. The speed brakes on the 777 are gigantic. You put them out very, very, very slowly. If you just yank them back, like maybe on the Airbus, you will cause a big disturbance in the cabin. You come out very slowly and you stow them very slowly. But we're descending down. Again, it's coming at 250 knots on our way down. And again, we're making all of our crossing restrictions. One thing I'll say about the London ATC controllers, they are very good. They tell you exactly what they want, and they have everything planned out very, very well. It can be a little bit overwhelming because they're being so finite sometimes in their instructions, but they are very well trained. And it's very intimidating the first time I ever came in here because they do this continuous descent approach where once you leave holding altitude, they don't want you to ever level off. They don't want you ever revving up your engines to make a lot of noise down below. And that was very intimidating to me the first time I came here. I was really worried about leveling off. But we have charts in our iPads that give us like recommended altitudes and how far you are. Basically, once you leave the hold, they tell you how many miles to the runway. And you have to do the mental math or some chart to figure out how many feet per minute you need to descend. Generally speaking, it's about 700 feet per minute. Now, approaching the Bovington VOR to hold, once you get down to 7,000 feet, you know you're going in. Right now, I'm going down to 10,000 feet. I've been as high as 12,000 feet, and they step you down lower and lower. And most times there's an aircraft at every 1,000 feet from like 12 down to 7. And as one leaves the hold, we all go down one at a time. In this example here, I'm just going to do one quick turn to hold. So I'm going to cross the VOR, go outbound, and then quickly go down to 7,000 feet. And I'm going to have a little bit of a speed up of the video right here just to save time. So we're going to cross the VOR, and again, turn outbound. Again, I've only gone here one time and not held. Once we're outbound, I'm just going to clear myself down to 7,000 feet, and I'll have ATC say, clear direct to the VOR and depart the VOR heading 180, which again, is about what I remember. I kind of took notes in my head after I landed. I put them down about what I did on this particular day. But I know we were cleared back to the VOR direct, and I think we were heading 180. I looked at my flight radar track as far as what I did, and it was about a 180 heading. Here I am going, exiting the hold, and that sends me right back to the VOR, and then down to 7,000 feet.
Now, once we are heading on 180, we are told to call I think they call it the director. Someone will correct me on this, but when we call this next frequency, we're told to only come on frequency with our call sign, not altitude, not heading. They are so organized. All they want us to say is Kirkland Flight 51. That's it, and then they'll acknowledge you, Kirkland Flight 51, and then from that point on, they're giving you headings and altitudes and speeds to get you in. And they tell you again how many miles to the runway. And you're having to figure out how many feet per minute to descend from 7,000 to meet the restrictions of never leveling off. So on the approach charts, they have a initial approach from Bovington to the runway. I've never done it. I've always been given vectors. Maybe one day I'll actually do what's in the box. But what we do once we're on vectors is we go ahead and clean up the box, and we'll just extend a center line into infinity. I'm going back in, and I'm having a line go out from a center line fix out to infinity, so I can see on my screen here where I am in relation to the final approach course. And this is something I've done in every aircraft I've ever flown at the airlines. It's called cleaning up your approach, getting rid of all the unnecessary gobbledygook on our ND, which is our navigational display. But once you're on with him, again, we're still at 7,000 feet, and I was going straight toward the airport. He's giving me a left turn toward the northeast, and then he'll give me a descent down to 4,000 feet. And it's from that point on where I'm not supposed to ever level off until I get, well, onto the ground. I did extend my flaps to 1. That just makes my slats come out. I have a bigger wing surface. It's just lift and very little drag involved there. Got to 4,000 feet. Now I'm using vertical speed. Generally speaking, about 700 feet per minute works pretty well, between 5 and 700 feet per minute. Again, we have a chart we can use as reference. A lot of people will press the approach button on the standby instrument because that picks up the glide slope earlier than my PFD, and we'll kind of eyeball where the glide slope is in relation to our current altitude. But again, it's just experience, knowing the airplane, knowing how to fly, all that kind of stuff, to know about how high you should be at this point on the approach. On this day, the transition level was 7,500 feet. So I have to put it in real quick. That's why it's flashing yellow on the bottom of my PFD. I put in the baro and then flop it over to hectopascals because I didn't prepare enough on this video, and making this video was extremely difficult for me. I had to do it twice. Um, Flight sim and I don't get along very well. All right, getting closer again. 6,000 feet. Life is good. Headed northeast. Again, I'm going to speed up just a little bit to save a little bit of time. Now, in my experience, we get cleared down to 4,000 feet, and then once we are going toward the final approach course, we'll clear down to 3,000 feet, and told to, well, once we're on the final approach course, we're told to descend via the glide. That means descend via the glide slope, right? And it seems easy, but we're also given these new speeds, right? So right now we're given whatever we want to. We're doing 220, our min clean speed, meaning the slowest we can go without having any drag out or flaps out. But I have flaps out now. But anyway, as we turn final, they slow us down to 190, and then eventually 160. And it's very difficult to, in this big airplane and most airplanes, to follow the glide path at such a slow speed without putting out drag. So here we're turning final, and again told to descend via the glide. So I've armed approach mode, 3,000's in there, turning final, life is good, and speed 190, right? So I'm having to put out flaps 5, and it's not gonna cut it, right? Because it's a very slick plane. So eventually I'm gonna have to go to gear down and flaps 15, and it's very common to have flaps 30 doing 160 on final, maybe 4 or 5 miles out. They are very picky, and again, they're very good. I'm not judging them by any means, but they're very picky on our speeds here. We are told to do 160 to a 4 mile final, to 4 DME, so to 4 DME. And unlike the United States, the DME is to the end of the runway. In many parts of the United States, the DME is to wherever the localizer is on the airport. But in foreign countries, so my experience so far in foreign countries is the DME is indeed to the end of the runway threshold. A little bit different than flying in the United States. But coming down just fine. Again, as you can see my speed creeping up, right? So I'm having to put the gear down because I can't hold 190 and flaps 5. So there's gear down, extra drag, flaps 15. And some people call the gear the rubber spoilers because they are so big. Speed brakes are armed. And keep on getting dirty and dirty and dirty. And again, my DME is in the top left-hand corner of my PFD, right under the green letter speed. That's my DME. Once I get to 4 DME, I'll go ahead and start slowing down to my final approach speed. Almost there. And it's also common in London to not get cleared to land until you're on a very, very short final. Once my experience has been, once the aircraft ahead has cleared the runway or starting to clear the runway, at that point we are cleared to land. Again, unlike the United States, where we'll be cleared to land on a 15-mile final and there's 3 aircraft ahead of us. Different rules and different procedures. All right, so I've slowed my final approach speed, and this is flight sim, and I don't like flight sim. The actual physics are not very good in my opinion. So I'm gonna pop over to the actual landing I did. This is Flight Focus 365's video. They film many landings and takeoffs at the London Heathrow Airport, and this is my actual flight. So you follow me on my social media account. I posted this elsewhere, but again, I've been up for a while. Autopilot's already been clicked off. I clicked off around 500 feet, I believe. Once we're clear to land. Again, I have my aiming point down the runway, and I want to land no earlier than 1,000-foot markers, those big white markers, and I landed right on them, just past it, actually, when the actual gear touched the ground. It felt firm. It looked good, so I'll take it as a win. Thrust reversers out, start slowing, manual braking, and then around 80 to 60 knots, I hand the aircraft over to the captain, and he takes it from there. At my airline, the captain always steers on the ground, point blank, period. Why? That is the way we do it. But we got into the gate just fine, shut down the airplane, and I have a habit of leaving things behind. So I went back to the flight deck one more time to make sure I left nothing on my side of the aircraft. And indeed, the cubby hole, everything is empty. Life is good. We did the customs walk, head to the hotel, and I took a nap. Then I went out to get some Indian food. Indian food here is amazing. It was just a local place. I got some chicken vindaloo, and I watched the Apple event. I did record some stuff, me talking to the camera, but I lost the footage due to an issue with Google Photos. It was all my fault, not Google's fault. But here's me getting ready to go to bed and calling it a day. All right, it is 8:43 local, 2:43 in the afternoon, I think, in Dallas. But I'm calling it. I'm tired. I did play some Madden. I like Madden. But yeah, I can't stay awake anymore. And I didn't do anything on this trip. I watched the Apple event today. I had no desire to buy a new Apple Watch Ultra 2. My old Ultra is 2 years old, still fine. Don't need new AirPod Pros, really. Mine are 2 years old, so probably not. And then iPhone 16 Pro, it had nothing for me. So, saving money, very mindful, very demure. Good night. The next morning, I saw an Ioniq 5 outside the hotel. Ironic, because I just sold my Ioniq 5. Morning London traffic. It is what it is. Got to the airport and dealt with the London security, and I was already missing my Amsterdam security. Anyways, Emirates 380 there, and Emirates 380 parked right next to us. Again, I am the FO for the trip. The captain is flying back. Walk down the jet bridge and onto the airplane, and it's kind of weird. And I don't know why it's weird to me, but when I walk on the airplane, I always look back thinking, this is my home for the next 9 to 12 hours. Like, here I am getting on the airplane, and I am not getting off again until Dallas. Yeah. Anyway, stand 305, standard taxi out of London. Normal flight back. Nothing crazy. But I do wear this blue pullover in flight because I get cold. I just am. I'm always cold. So I have this blue pullover. And this is me in Dallas, by the way, shutting the airplane down. You'll see in a second that I am on the ground, engine shut off. And I have to show the outside of the airplane because people will say, why are you filming the flight deck in the air? I'm not. See, I'm on the ground in Dallas. Thank you. Anyways, here's the airplane also from the outside. I love this view in Terminal D. Beautiful day in Dallas. Headed out to my car, and again, I was not exhausted. I was feeling pretty good. And I'm thinking, man, having that last break did me really good. Plus, sleeping so much in London did me really, really good. All right, debrief time. These are old. Anyways, let's go home. The flight from London was great. I feel great.
I slept a lot in London. Not gonna lie. Um, probably seen it in a video, but I went to bed. I went to bed early. Woke up feeling great. Woke up. Good lord, it was. Something in my glasses. you what's in that? Woke up at midnight 35. Midnight 30. Dallas time. 6:35. 6:30. London time. And made our way to the airport. No issues. Well, no small issues. So I bought coffee in the lobby. So I don't normally, if I'm FB, I don't buy coffee, but I was FO, so I bought coffee because I wanted to be awake. Anyways, it was an Americano, a large. Put in my little thermos, love my little thermos, and I'm drinking it thinking, this should not be an issue going through security. It's a small amount of coffee. You can look inside and see a small amount of coffee. But in this case, I drink a lot of it, right? And we got to London security, and they're like, yeah, sorry, sir, we can't see how much is in there. Can't measure it, so you have to pour it out. It was like that much coffee. Whatever. Pour the coffee out. Now I'm safe. Boarded up just fine. Left a few minutes early. 2:07 left. Captain's takeoff. Taxi around London. It's a pretty short taxi from where we were parked to the runway. Launched off either just fine. We had a very northern route because of the winds. Normal. Got close to Greenland. Got close to Iceland. Over the southern portion of Greenland, and because I flew there, I had the last break coming back, right? So I was gonna be up there for almost 6 hours. I wasn't exhausted. Anyways, when it was time for my break, first it was the FB's break, then the captain break, then my break. Time for my break, I went upstairs and I tried to sleep. I wasn't exhausted, but I slept for like 45 minutes. Woke up, used the restroom, and I'm like, you know what? I'm awake. I'm not tired at all. So in our break area, there's two like business style seats, and then two beds, right? So I sat in a seat and I want to watch a movie. Well, they need headphones. So I had to go back downstairs and ask for some headphones, little earbud thingies, right? Plugged them in. I watched a few episodes of Community. I love the show Community. I think I watched five. I watched all 5 episodes. They had 5 on board. 5 episodes of Community. Or four. Then I went back downstairs to use the restroom. She's like, and my flight attendants were like, "Do you want dinner? Or you want a snack?" I went, "I can eat. We only get 2 meals on this 10-hour flight. Cheeseburger or a Thai chicken salad." I had the cheeseburger, and I noticed the food from London is better than the food from the U.S. Just saying. I didn't eat the bread because I'm on, carbs and this diet I'm on. Anyways, it was a good cheeseburger. I did have a few French fries, a few carbs. Eh. Went back up front. And I was awake, right? And whoever gets the last break, if we're early, you get cut short. You get shortcuts, but if you're late, you get a longer break. I had almost over a 3-hour break. So I called the guy. I said, "Hey guys, I'm up early." We had like 50 minutes to landing. They're gonna call me at 40 minutes prior to be up there 30 minutes prior. I was up early. Went up front. They all used the restroom because that's what we all do. And then TMI. I don't know. Maybe that's TMI. And then came into Dallas, and the only bad part was beautiful day here in Dallas, but we got 1-7 left. I got 1-7 center, 1-7 center. So we got, and we had to exit to the left versus the right because of some construction. So we had a long taxi over to the west side into the gate. A few minutes late. I made a couple bucks, and we're done. So because this is an OG trip, so I would have been on reserve yesterday and today, no matter what. Now, looking back at the historical, what's going on with all the reserves, I would have been off yesterday and today. So while some say, Darren, you worked but you didn't have to, for me, I wanted to fly. I needed myself to fly. I just like flying, right? So yeah, I worked when I didn't have to, but I made a little extra money. I am on reserve tomorrow. They gave me a 4 p.m. wrap, which I thought was odd. They could have given me an 11 a.m. wrap or a 3 p.m. wrap. The 4 p.m. wrap is the last wrap to go, right? Well, I'm only good for, let's see. Oh, I am good for 3 days. I am good for 3 days. Dang it. Yeah, 3 days. I thought it was 2 days. It's 3 days. I'm good because I have weekends off, right? So they could call me at 4 o'clock
to do another London or some other kind of crappy flight. I thought I was in the clear. I'm not, but it's okay. I'm okay. I would love to fly again. Um, but yeah, London again. This trip to London, I didn't do anything. I went out for just to get my dinner and watch the Apple event, get some breakfast stuff, and went to bed. So, all right, Darren, finish the video. So the next day, I was on a 4 o'clock wrap, and I got notified shortly after 4 o'clock that I was going to London again. Exact same sequence numbers, right? Now, full disclosure, at my airline, we have a new reserve system, um, and I could tell at about 9:45 in the morning that I was getting this trip. They didn't have to, my reserve availability period did not start until 4 p.m. But I can see things, right? So I looked, I saw it, and as a professional and as a safe person and as who I am, I'm like, all right, I'm going to London tonight. It's 9:45 in the morning. I need to nap before I do this trip. Now again, I'm the relief pilot, so I could have said, well, I need to show up tired to go to bed, but I know me, I know my body, and I'd rather be rested, right? So I went about my morning, and then I took a nap from like 1 in the afternoon to almost 4 in the afternoon, right? Just to get extra rest. I like to be well rested. So rested for the trip, showed up at the airport, and again, I'm the FB, as a term of my airline, or relief pilot. So I was first to the airplane. I sat in the FO seat, did the test, the normal pre-flight stuff, and the captain seat, did the test I need to do over there, did the full flight deck inspection, went outside, did my exterior pre-flight, came back inside, started making the bunks, and that's when the crew arrived for the trip. Now, the trip over there, again, I ended taking the first break, so we launched on time, headed toward London. I went to sleep pretty quickly, to rest pretty quickly. Again, it was a 200 on the way there, less than ideal. We did have a jump seater on board, a 777 captain. He, you know, anyway, we gave him our first class business class seat because none of us wanted to use it. All of us were going to be happy in the bunks, right? So I was in the bunk. So it's about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. Pretty good sleep, right? Again, I went to bed around 9 p.m. Early for me. Back up front, fairly normal ocean crossing. Got to London, and now I was pretty tired. And I went to bed. That's not all we do. Took a nap. Woke up, and all I did was go out, get lunch. I did buy my wife some chocolate. She likes the Leonidas Belgian chocolate. Bought her some chocolate, and that was it. I did. No, I did go to. Where did I go shopping this time? I went to M&S grocery store versus Whole Foods. Got some snacks for the evening and morning, and that was it. So I went to bed, and I was spent. Again, back-to-back London trips, less than ideal. Again, I think on my last 2 and 3 London trips, I haven't like done my normal tube, getting on the tube and go anywhere. I've just been staying around the hotel area because they've been shorter overnights overall. Again, 19 hours seems like a lot. It's not very much. 24 hours is much more than 19. It's just 5 hours, but it's a lot more than 5 hours. Anyways, got back to Dallas just fine. And now for the second debrief.
I'm ready to go home. Over the last 6 days, I've crossed the Atlantic Ocean 4 times. 4 times. And that equates to over almost 17,000 nautical miles flown in the last 6 days. That's a lot. How, Darren? How did you work 6 days in a row? Great question, great question, Darren. By the way, hi, my name is Darren. I'm a dad. I'm an airline pilot. I'm a husband of a scientist. Just got back from London, England. So it all started on Sunday evening. There'll be a video about this eventually, but I picked a longer video. I picked up a extra trip, overtime trip, that had like a 8:35 p.m. sign-in. So I had the entire day off with my family, and then showed up at the airport at 8:35 at night to fly to London. Right? This is an FO trip. Flew to London, short overnight, 19 hours, and flew back. Right? Got back on Tuesday at 2:30 in the afternoon, same time right now. Didn't feel exhausted because I didn't. I had the see, I was FB on the way. I was non-flight pilot on the way back, so I had the last break on the way back. So I took a nap right before landing. Felt great. Got back, spent the whole evening with my family. Great. Then Wednesday, I'm on short call reserve. I had a 4 p.m. wrap. They put it on my schedule around 9 in the morning, but I didn't have to tell them I knew about it until 4 in the afternoon, right? This wasn't a requirement. But I knew I was going to London, right? So I went ahead and took a nap. And I'm like, wow, I see this coming. So I took a nap right around 1 in the afternoon till about 3:30. No, it's almost 4 o'clock. I had a nice long nap. And then my wrap started at 4, and I saw the trip. I'm like, London again. Same trip, this time as a relief pilot at my airline called an FB. So I'm like, wow, we're going to do this, huh? Again, I was feeling fine. And it does help to be a little bit tired as a relief pilot showing up because you take the very first break. So yeah, I showed up at the airport, and I noticed I was talking with a check airman. That was kind of weird. Well, he was a brand new check airman, as in he's had 4 flights, but had never been to London before, and never flown a 300 before. So we flew the 200 all the way there. He flew there. Me and the FO were giving him lots of tips. And again, he's a check airman, right? He's been flying a long time, just never to London. So we flew there just fine. And when I got there, I was ready to go to bed. I'm like, you know what? This is my 3rd ocean crossing this week. Ready to go to bed. So got to London early and got to the hotel, and I slept right away. Woke up, walked around for a little bit, called the wife, got some dinner, watched some YouTube, and went to bed again. Because again, I like my sleep. So went to bed again. I went to bed around 8:30 London time. Yeah. Woke up the next morning, or this morning, and did the same flight back to DFW. But this time, we had 2 very high-ranking people in my airline on board. I won't say who they are, the numbers, for privacy reasons, but very high-ranking people on board. Not that big of a deal, but a little bit extra stress, right? Then the FAA's on board. In London, the FAA met us on the airplane, like, hey, I'm with the FAA. Can I see your license and medical? Not a big deal. I'm like, it's a little bit more stress. But then, of course, I took the first break because I'm the FB, relief pilot. And then, crossed the ocean for the 4th time. So, was it worth it picking up the extra trip? Overall, yes, because I made that much extra money by coming in at 8:30 at night on my day off, right? Again, I was on reserve anyway on Monday and Tuesday, so I was able to come in and work 4 hours on a day off and make that much extra money. It was worth it. But working 6 days in a row, 4 ocean crossings, it didn't help a whole lot that both overnights in London were kind of short. They were 19 hours long and change. And you might think, well, Darren, that's 19 hours. Except, I'm going to sleep for at least, I'm going to be in bed in the hotel room for at least 10 of those hours, right? So that's 9 hours. We leave for the airport very early. So I'm just going to give you a random number. It takes me about 3 hours away from that. So that's 6 hours extra, right? Then, of course, it takes a while to get to the airport, for the airport to the hotel initially. So I really had like 5 hours. 5 hours free in London. And you consider I'm going to take a nap when I get there. That's at least 2 hours long. So I really had this 3 hours in London. 3 hours. So, yeah. And that was on both trips. I did the exact same flight numbers to and from each time. The only difference was I flew a 300 to and from the first trip, and then I flew a 200 there and 300 back on the second trip. So otherwise, exact same flight numbers back and forth. But I'm going to head home now. I'm off for the weekend. I am able to hold weekends off somehow, being so junior. I'm sure it's a strategic reason for the people doing working weekends. Maybe they make more money on weekends. I have no idea. But yeah, that's a lot of flying I've done. I think that's the most flying I've done ever in my career in a 1 week period. All right, that's all. Well, let's do one video. So if you want to support me, click on a link. I appreciate your support. Or not click a link. These are all my social networks. All right, have a great day, and as always, thank you for stopping by.